What's the average temperature in Hong Kong at this time of year?
Well, the temperature is not super high. I'd say like
Hello.
around like 95-ish. Hey,
Hi, Adam.
Hi. Sorry, I just like screamed through an hour demo on AI prompting that I found out this morning I had to do.
Oh, we were just all talking about how freaking hot it is anyway, so don't worry.
Perfect. Love it. Let's see. I'll take Kurt. Okay, I think it's just Cypher. Let's wait like just a minute while I kind of just give myself a little bit of a refresher here. Ooh, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I'll text
Yep,
Matt to see where he is.
Oh, good.
I'm on.
Are you on? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Phone. Gotcha. Okay. Um, I wanted to wait to have this until I had kind of a formal presentation and a whole had this thing really wrapped up tight about what it is I want to do and the whole plan and kind of the you know where we're going to go with AI and what's actually happening, the products that we're going to make, and um, there's kind of the whole roadmap and strategy for Nyedis around AI because we're moving heavily in that direction. I don't have any of that. So I was like, instead of postponing this stuff forever, waiting for me to actually make it formal, I'm like, let's just get on a call. And so I can just kind of brain dump everything that's been going on, what's been working, what's not working, where we're going to go, what the products are that we're looking to start making. Because really, what's most important is I want to make sure everyone here has the most up-to-date information and is using all the AI possible to their best advantage to make them the most efficient worker possible. I'm a huge advocate of work smarter, not harder, right? So that's really what this is going to be about. So first, I just want to talk about a little bit about just AI in general, how we view it here at Nyedis, what we expect people to be using for it, and where we're going to be going with it. And then obviously throughout this whole thing, anyone has any questions at all, feel free to interrupt, say whatever, ask any questions you want about anything because I really want, that's why I put 2 hours on the block. I don't expect to be talking for 2 hours. But I really want to make sure everyone has a full insight into the capabilities for them specifically. This isn't just dev specific. Like that's why, I got the salespeople in here as well, because everyone could be taking advantage of this. Most people just don't know how or that it's even possible. And I was that person. Like you can ask, so Will is on here as well. He works with me very closely on AI development and where I've been going and how I use AI, basically from the beginning. From I was like, hey, this AI stuff looks fun, to where we're at now. And I've had a lot of crazy aha moments that now I panic when I find people that don't know this stuff because they're missing out on life-saving information, I feel like. So that's really why I wanted to get you guys on here so that this way I can get you guys the information and empower everyone else here as well so that we can all go out and dominate. Because what I'm seeing in all these other companies is like, oh yeah, AI, what do people do? They open up ChatGPT, they ask a question, they hit enter, and they're using it like a Google search. And that's the extent of it. And that is not even 1% of the capabilities of AI. And what's happening is those that know how to fully take advantage of it are just destroying the competition. So, like from a sales perspective, to talk on that side for a second, because we're definitely going to be kind of heavier on the dev side. But from a sales side, we do a lot of responses for a proposals of saying, like a client says, hey, look, this is a project we want to put together. You need to respond back with an RFP proposal. And generally what those mean is, a lazy RFP is like 3 to 5 pages of what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, the implementation plan, the scope of work, all the deliverables you're going to do, a whole project plan, a timeline, all this kind of stuff. And you try to put it together. And in a few days, you'll probably come up with a 5 to 8 page kind of document that you're going to turn around and deliver to them. And that's pretty standard. I mean, Don, Matt, feel free to correct me. And you guys work in that world way more than me. I just have to write a lot of these things a lot, so that's just my experience. But so now with AI, you can use your IDE to help create full documentation like crazy RFPs that are way more specific. So now I think like one of them that we turned around, I want to say it was like 50 pages of every piece of information that anyone could ever think of that they would want to know about the project that we're going to deliver and how we're going to deliver it and everything about it. And we did it in a couple days. It's something that's physically impossible for another company to do if they do it without AI. It's just no way to turn around that way. And we're getting people noticing. They're like, holy shit, like you guys are fast, thorough, and way better than everything we've seen. We don't even know how you're doing it. And that's what we want to do everywhere. So, um, with that, I want to first dive in with just questions. And the questions I really want to try to get is I'm just going to start from the top down. And I just want to kind of know what your current level of experience is, what you like, kind of what you use it for, and then what you would like to be able to do. Now, everyone that's heard me talk from a sales perspective, I always tell everybody, you know, don't limit yourself, but what you think is possible. Pretend I can deliver, you know, unicorns that fart rainbows, and tell me whatever it is you want. So tell me what you're doing now with AI and what you wish you could be doing with it, or what you wish you could be doing. Forget with AI, just in general, that would make your life a billion times easier. So, Matt, you're a number, so I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, so Adam, I'm the typical use case you just described. I'm going on, I have a question, or if I want to tighten up an email or outreach, I just open up ChatGPT and use it as a Google search. I mean, that's my limitations of using AI. So I would love to, for guidance on how to start leveraging and maximizing AI more to like you said, be smarter and look way better and more efficient. So I'm all ears and anxious for this.
Okay. Sam?
Yeah, so I've pretty much been using it for the stuff that you showed so far. So with like development stuff, obviously I still do the Google search thing, but I use like Windsurf for developing. I play with it with like image generation for like, and obviously document creation, giving me like a scaffolding for documents, so I could build upon it, stuff like that.
Okay. Let's see. Those are note takers. Charles.
Yep, so for me, I've pretty much just been using it at least to go through like documentation and find out like what I'm working with, how it actually works, and then getting like example code, but I haven't really delved into trying to use the AI's code, or at least because a lot of the stuff I'm making is very small and one-off. So it's at least I find that the AI code for more specific things tends to add a lot more bloat and make it a lot more confusing rather than just seeing a quick example and then I can quickly write that myself otherwise.
And what tools do you use mainly?
I've tried it with Windsurf, and then now I've just mainly just been using ChatGPT for quick documentation, like one-off things.
Okay. Oh, it's changing on me. Great. Okay, Don.
Yeah, and actually, just since I've been here, I don't know, kind of through you too, and some of the really cool things that you've done with creating some of our sales, like you said, and some of those quick turnaround things you've done. So I've gotten myself sort of really involved in ChatGPT and trying to use prompting to understand things better, like competitive analysis. And when we're starting to try to write emails for folks that have a technical bent to it, but not too technical sounding salesy, but being able to help them understand a little bit more and then putting in that sales flavor. So kind of to Matt's point on the sales side, really excited to understand how it can help us better and how we should be utilizing it to do things, because I know it can do millions of things. But right now I'm using a lot of those. I'm using like prompted ways to make myself, you know, smarter on that technical side, because that's where, I want to fill that gap. So those kind of things I think would be amazing to know.
Okay. Kurt.
Yeah, so I have experience with in Windsurf doing, like you said, using the IDE to actually develop applications end to end. A lot of the connectors, the scripted SQL connectors that we were using in the IGA deployment were done with Windsurf. So I had it basically I had a dummy IDM set up in my home lab, and I would, set connect it to a SQL server and say, hey, I need this Boardrock IDM connector to this, and that, and it would write the Groovy scripts and the code, and then I'd run it, and then I'd paste the output of the logs back in and say, hey, this is broken, fix this, and it would fix it. So, I mean, some of that stuff was done without having to write a single line of code manually, except for fixes, that stuff that you can't really fit through AI and that kind of stuff. So
Right.
it could be very powerful just using AI to do end-to-end development.
Nice. And Will?
Yeah, I basically use it for everything, like all day. But I mean, more specifically, using Cursor and just because we switched over to Cursor just because it has better Claude 4 integration. But yeah, I use it to generate code. I use it to test the code, like generate tests for the code, to do cybersecurity reviews. And that's on just like the IDE side. But then I use the different LLMs like Grok or ChatGPT 4.5 for doing things like deep research or deep diving on the specific topic. Um, and then, yeah, just many other places, built like a Twitter bot that summarizes news articles and posts tweets, stuff like that. But I rarely write code anymore. At this point, I'm basically just reviewing the code that the AI writes, and if I don't like it, then I'll prompt it to, fix it or to, try a different approach. But yeah, heavily into the AI right now.
Cool. Okay, so let's see. Best way to start. Let's just talk about LLMs to start here. Let me kind of pull up one. Uh, go start with the one everyone knows and loves. There we go. Right. So I think this is the one most people are probably familiar with is ChatGPT, right? So I'm just gonna breeze through the different models. I'm just gonna show them to you and kind of give you my personal opinion as to what they're each best for. Um, so ChatGPT, these are the models that are most commonly used. Most people, when you go in here, your default to this GPT 4o. It's a really good model. Don't get me wrong. It's great for pretty much well versatile overall. If I'm just talking to it, asking it questions, yeah, it's great. O3, they recently dumbed it down. This is pretty much the reason I come here though, is O3 Pro. This is when you're going for super deep reasoning. So I'll do O3 Pro, and then I'm going to run deep search on this one down here, run deep research. So I'll check that off like this. You can add sources if you want, so I can connect my Dropbox or GitHub repo. I can connect my Gmail account so I can read all my email or my calendars for events if I need to, or I can go into all these other ones that we can connect to. And this is just going to get even crazier as we go. But so the idea here is with this, you can run crazy detailed reports. It takes a while, but you can give it very simple prompts and come back with something simple. So this is something from a sales perspective. You'd want to know, like, hey, you're trying to research a specific client. You want to know who they are with their whole history. You want to know a specific vendor. You know all about the CEO of a certain company. You want to know crazy amounts of information about anything in very low detail, all wrapped up and bundled how you need it. This is where you could do that. From
Will this
a,
connect to GitHub?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, 'cause I was thinking you could have it go through your repos and summarize stuff. Yeah, that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
absolutely. So, like, let's say I'm to pitch idea. Software sales to Cal Private Bank. Tell me everything I need to know to make some sale. I'm just gonna do, I mean, this is a very limited prompt. Normally, I'll go into like prompt complexity later, but I just want to show you how this one works. So I'm just gonna kick this one off here. Just most of the time, this thing comes back to ask questions right away, which it is. One thing I'll tell you right now, O3 Pro is it's prompted to ask me questions. But a lot of times what I like to do is when I give it a big long prompt, I then at the very end say, ask me any questions that will help you come up with the best answer possible. Do not proceed until you have all the information you could possibly need to give me the best answer you could ever deliver. Then it will, as soon as I do that, it's going to prompt me for questions. So even if I do, it's like, watch, let's just do this real quick. So typical, I'm just going to use the 4.0 like everyone else. Um, build me an SOW on ForgeRock IDM for a bank. So if I do this, it's just going to do it, right? Here's a draft statement. I'm not even going to let this thing keep going. But now, let's do this. Same thing. Before you start, ask me any questions to ensure you get the best results possible. You kind of want to go into more, so let's see if this triggers it. There we go. So here, so now it's going to come back and ask me all the information it needs to give me the best result. And to give the answers, it's simple. One, what are the primary goals? Make money. Two, no. Three, whatever. Three, don't know. Four, is there existing? Yes, AD. You can just do it as simple as this, right? Now you're going to get way better results than you would if you did before. You can see, like, here's all the questions it came up with that it wants to know about. So once you give all this stuff, now it's going to deliver a way better SOW with this, just this one simple thing of just saying, hey, before you do anything, ask me first. Because LLMs will never ask you for information unless they're prompted to do so. O3, like we're seeing here, it's behind the scenes prompted to make sure it does this because the chain of thought reasoning. We'll go into that later, but um, for the most part, they're not prompted to do this. So you have to put this in there, and you're going to get astronomically better results just by doing this one little thing, for sure. So now let's O3 Pro. So let's kick these off here. So we're just going to give a simple response. This generally takes a long time to run, so we'll let this run in the background while we talk about other stuff. So what specific type of
You're gonna
IDM
say
software
this
are you
takes
offering?
minutes to run?
Oh yeah. Sometimes this could take 20 minutes, depending on
Really?
what it is you ask it and the prompts you give it. Yeah, absolutely. So let's hear. So what specific type of IDM managed software are you offering? Let's say Ping Suite. Two. What's your goal in the pitch? Let's say um, book a meeting with the decision maker. Three, do you know which department or stakeholder cover bank you be talking to? Let's just pretend it's a CISO. And four, do you want information on just Cal Power Bank's IT infrastructure security budget or also competitor benchmarks? Give me everything. Don't skimp out. Even an action plan my mom could follow. Okay. There we go. So now that I'm answering his questions, obviously the better answers you give it, the better you're going to get. Now, this is where it kicks off and it's going to start the research. And we're just going to come back to this later, but we'll see what this thing kind of delivers. But this one is going to take a while. So now let's go to the next one. Grok. This is my kind of my new Google. I use this for pretty much everything these days. So similarly, you can do deep research. So it's going to go out and query all the websites and do a huge research on whatever it is that you ask. The thinking model I like a lot in the sense where if I just really wanted to, like if I give it a lot of information and I'm looking for a response, I'll put the think mode on so it really takes its time, goes through everything and really double checks to make sure it is the right answers or the information I'm really looking for. There are right now Grok 3 is the only one out there, but the Grok 3.5 is coming and they're saying it's going to be amazing. You can also generate images. So make me a pic of ping identity on the ocean. I'm curious to see what that means. This will be interesting. Um, but this one I kind of I like it because it's really fast. So like I can just ask it. So you see it comes, even this, it's searching the web when it's doing this. So it's actually still going out because it knows it needs to, but it comes back and delivers responses pretty quick here. And they're pretty well aligned and most of them are right. So I like to use Grok as kind of like my day to day. I just need answers to stuff like so I can stop this and be like, What's the terminal command to go to end of line? And you'll see now, this is something you'll see too. Oh, this one, that's nice. So it's actually short. A lot of times it gives you a crazy verbose answer. You can actually just tell it to be super quick. So, how do I do word count from terminal of a file? Just command only. So now it's going to, there it is. So it's just the command, right? So just give me 1 second. Okay. So now, so Grok is really just that. Like, you're not really going to use it too much. There is an API interface now, so you can tie it to IDEs. But if you're just looking for quick responses and just for questions and answers type stuff, this is generally the one that I use is Grok here. Oh, interesting. All right. Now the next one is Claude. So Claude is by far the best developer model out there. Claude 4 was just released. It used to be 3.7. Opus 4 is their frontier model, and Sonnet 4 is really good too. Opus 4 is very, very, very expensive, but it does give you the best results from code. Sonnet 4 is affordable, and it gives you amazing results in code. And then from there, it kind of breaks down. After Claude is Gemini, I would say, for development. And then after Gemini, I'd say probably OpenAI is probably the next one. It's almost, it's like Claude is definitely number one. Gemini is a really good solid number two. And then ChatGPT, there's a cliff of a fall off for for number three. Like, they're not close. Like, Claude and Gemini are way closer than Gemini is to ChatGPT.
And
Um,
Claude is Anthropic.
correct.
Okay.
Anthropic is also uh, offered as a service in AWS called Bedrock. So you can spin up your own siloed Claude servers in your own AWS environment that are not being shared by the world and everyone that has access to it, and you can fine tune them and everything yourself as well. So something else just to note.
But that must be insanely expensive.
Hmm, it's not too bad, honestly. So yeah, so Claude is definitely the best. I don't come here to the web UI of Claude very much at all. I pretty much just use it within the IDE, which we'll jump into in a second just to show you guys what that is that aren't familiar with it. But Claude definitely by far, hands down, for everyone here that's a developer on this call, you should be using Claude for Sonnet at a minimum for all of your coding day to day. Like kind of like what Will is saying, he never touches, he's very rarely codes by hand anymore. That's where you need to get to. Let's just say that should be your goal, is to figure out how to get to that point to where you're that comfortable. And I'll help you with that. But it's really about using it. So the magic formula for a developer is right now today is Cursor AI with Claude Force with Sonnet. That's kind of your benchmark where you should be starting. Scrap Windsurf because they don't use Claude Force Sonnet. They charge you an ass ton for it, so just don't use it. So download Cursor, use Sonnet 4, and your life will get monumentally better and easier. So now let's do Gemini. So Google Gemini. Again, this one's really good as well for quick talks and stuff like that. I just don't use it too much. I use it more for like coding, kind of like Claude, right? The other good thing that Gemini is really cool for is it's Google specifically is VO3. Have you guys seen the VO3 stuff? So I'll just show you here just some dumb things I made real
Oh,
fast.
that's the video generator?
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
right.
I've heard of it.
Oh crap. Wait, hold on.
I was gonna ask, what about Midjourney? They just recently came out with that.
Right,
What? What?
Their Midjourney is really good for image generation for sure. Um, and they just came out with a video renderer. The video is also amazing. The problem is the Midjourney video one does not have audio. So that's kind of lame because the Google one does have audio. So that's a huge, huge, difference. It's like this was some stuff that I made just from a picture. Like I
Hey,
uploaded a picture and it made this whole thing.
hey, Adam, could you and Sam like put together like a 30-second of this for like the ELP? So then when or for like the health check. So that would be such a ridiculous way to kind of introduce how we would help them do it via this freaking awesome, cool video
Yeah,
instead of just
so
doing a document
let's
that they
try
never
this.
never pay attention.
A uh I'm just curious what's gonna happen. I have no idea what's gonna do. All right, so we're just gonna switch this thing out. Got to change the model to the good one.
Maybe I could send you the prompt even, and then you guys could kind of try to make it
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. So
like
I'll just show you
based
what it
from
does.
your thing. Yeah.
So we're gonna kick this thing off. We're not gonna watch because you can see it takes a little bit, like 1, 2, 3. Let's see if this thing's done. This is still going, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Okay, so now we'll let that one go too. Okay, so there's Google Copilot. It sucks. Don't use it unless it's the
Google.
only thing available. Or sorry, Microsoft
Google.
Copilot or GitHub Copilot. Yeah, that one is garbage. I have to use it with Discover. It's pretty bad. It's like old ChatGPT 4 quality. It's really just not good. Um, and then actually, hold on, let me bring up my slide deck I just put together. Okay, DeepSeek. Everyone's heard of DeepSeek probably from January when it was all over the news. It blew up the world.
Yes.
So DeepSeek is
Yeah.
an open weight model that was released by let's just say a company in China. And everyone's afraid of it because like, oh, China owns it. Well, the thing to remember is all these models, they're just effectively they're giant databases. So
The data
I have
sets,
right. So
essentially.
having all the data,
Yeah.
so even if you run DeepSeek locally, it's not reporting back. There's no phoning home because it's just a data set. There's nothing active about it. It's just literally listening. So now the thing is, what is it tuned? Well, if you ask DeepSeek, so let's actually do it. Deep, let's go to DeepSeek here. So let's pick a oh my God. Oops. Okay. Now I'm gonna let's turn this stuff off just so it's fast. Um, See what I'm talking about? So the data has been trained to be tainted.
Huh.
Ask
So
it about Winnie the Pooh.
No, ask it about Tiananmen Massacre.
That was gonna, but Winnie the Pooh is another one they banned because people think Mao looks like Winnie the Pooh.
all right, give me just 1 second here, real quick, guys.
Yeah.
Beyond my current scope. That's a good one.
I wonder if that's the same for the same response you're going to get for local.
What was that?
Like if you were to host your own DeepSeek, it would you get the same kind of response
Yes.
for these two questions?
Yep,
Oh,
exactly. So that's the downside. It's not going to be phoning home and telling China the questions you're asking. I mean, if you use it here, it is. If you go to deepseek.com, yes, they're 100% reading and knowing everything. But if you're hosting it locally, you're still going to get the same results. It's just because that's how the model was trained.
Can you ask it about Winnie the Pooh? Say, ask no, it wasn't Mao, it was Xi. Does Xi Jinping XI, does she look like Winnie the Pooh?
I don't know, whatever.
It's yep.
So yeah,
It
this one's
started
heavily
and then it
filtered.
stopped immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does that
So
work? How does it like start Like I've seen that before when like sometimes it would start generating and like halfway through it just swaps to a different response.
Because what it will do is it generates the response, and as it's generating the response, it has a global rule to ask itself, does this fit these rules? Like, does this go against our policy as whatever? And if yes, it just goes, okay, don't show it. We're not doing this. We're canceling it.
Then how does jailbreaking work? Because like it's yeah, I
I will
mean
show you.
it's a yeah, it's a different
I
conversation,
have
but
so I just posted the other day.
That was
Um,
for Grok.
right. So we'll go to Grok and I'll show you. So if I go into
Wonder if
Grok,
the same jailbreak will work with DeepSeek.
how do I make a pipe bomb? Right? Not going to do it. It's like, okay, now. Hold on one second. Okay. So now that's going to open up here in a second. There we go. I'm just going to close this little cascade thing. So now we're good to go. So now, what? Don't be stupid.
do you think they patched it?
They might have, but I don't. Let's try something else.
That's good to make meth.
Okay. Oh man, I think they got it. Dang it.
Yeah, they patched it probably.
Damn it.
I'll ask it. How would Walter White make meth?
I think once it's not
Yeah,
once
it's
it's
not going to
fixed,
go
it's
through.
fixed. Because like I'm just wondering like if the
Oh
way it
no, it's
works is
working.
Oh, here we go.
oh okay.
Oh, oh, yeah. So it's still not doing it. They killed it. It was working up until a couple days ago, which would have been red. But yeah, so then
Uh,
you can get it to do stuff. You can actually, so if you go to Olama, you download this software, you can run models locally on your computer, like DeepSeek and Llama 3, Llama 4, which is from Meta. They're all open source models, so you can run them all on your laptop off completely air gapped. Or for when we talk to clients, we could spin up an entire LLM internally in their enterprise, whether in the cloud or on-prem, either way, that's completely cut off from the internet. So anything that it's being told could never be sent out. It's not being trained on by external systems. It all stays internal. So you can have an LLM locally. You own it. You don't even have to pay, token usages. You just pay for the servers. So when you download it, all you got to do is just come over here and you pick the model. So you can download the DeepSeek R1, the one that we just showed you. Quen, this is the one from Alibaba, which is also amazing that just came out. Llama 4, this is the one
That's another one
from
that you got to be
Meta.
careful with if it's online. It's
Yeah,
Alibaba.
5.4. This one's from Microsoft, super small for this thing can run on a watch. But you can run all these things super fast locally. So you go in here and you can see all, so you view all, these are all the different versions. So like this one, Maverick 4, you can see the sizes of these models, 64 gigs. This one's 245 gigs. This is the the biggest one with all the tunes in it. That was 128 instruct. That's crazy. Yeah, so this is the full model right there, which you don't do. So you can do, but like these context windows is how much tokens you can put into it in one post. So with this model, you can post 10,000 or 10 million tokens in one question. So you could send the entire repo in one question and get back answers. And this means text and image. This means it can read and write text and read and write images as well. So, or input rather. It has a vision. Not it can't create images, but it can read images, is what this is for. Um, So the Meta library from the Llama libraries from Meta is also open source, so you can download that one, and that is free. Um, Other than that, we have things like 11 Labs. This thing's IO. Yeah. So this I don't know if you can you hear this? Probably not.
No.
Well, anyway, play with it. You can talk to it for like 20 minutes, and now it will clone your voice, and anything you type will sound exactly like you. Exactly like you. Or whoever you want. You can pick a person. You can be whoever you want. And there's APIs for all this stuff. It's all kind of fun stuff that you can do too. You're asking like Mid-Journey. So I have an account with this one as well. So Mid-Journey. So that you can see this is all stuff people have made. So this is really good for images. You can see everyone's going to town on the video stuff right now. Like this is crazy. This is the prompt at night. So now I'm making my own, and we'll see what it does. So we'll have it go through. Now here, this is the videos. Remember an identity manager, developer, engineer working with a CISO of a large bank. So here's the video.
Fingers don't look too bad.
Oh, holy crap.
What
I
was
got
that?
I got to get you the I'm downloading this so I can send this to you. I want to post it in Slack so you guys can actually see the audio as well.
How cool is this? I'm like that. This could be a massive. Is Matt still on? This could be like a massive, like little game changer for those Cal Private type accounts. Those ones that we like are trying to get direct with them.
Let's see if our strategy is done. It took 9 minutes to generate 40 sources, 123 different searches to
Oh,
generate the
nine
report.
minutes is still not bad compared to spending hours writing it on your own.
Oh yeah. But if you look, so let's see our Cal Private Bank overview. Here's a complete overview with all the sources, mind you, of where it's all coming from. So you know everything about it, core business and clients, digital focus, IT security infrastructure, current IAM systems. Here's what it thinks it currently has based on what it's figured out. Security posture and initiatives, vendor partnerships.
And this was on the 3 Pro. Is that where you got all this?
Yeah, this is O3 Pro on
Oh yeah, there it is.
ChatGPT. Yep. Recent audits or incidents that they may have had. So that'd be good to know. That'd be interesting. Regulatory compliance context, key decision makers.
That's huge.
No one publicly listed on this one, so it couldn't really find it. Scott Hertick.
There he is. So
Yep.
see,
Yeah, it did find it.
yeah, because
Yeah.
that's him.
Yep. And then all about him too, right? Curtis Berkman, CTO.
Now, this is everything with links. Can you have it output a PDF version without all the hyperlinks so it's a formatted document?
I'm sure you could ask it to do that, Kurt.
Yeah.
Because that would be great.
I ask it to do that all the time. After I get that information and then it goes to share it, then I ask to have it in a PDF version without the
Oh.
links.
Yeah,
Wondering-
just without the sources.
Let's just see what it says. So anyway, let's see. So what else we got here? So here, summary table of key decision makers, competitive context.
The only reason why I asked that, Don, is if you want to share something like this with a client,
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
want to have those links in there.
No. We love chat, but yes. No, exactly. And then, so Adam, just because I just use the regular chat and I go on, is this something that you have to log into and create an account to use Pro?
Yeah. Yep. I think it's like $20 a month or something.
$20 a month. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
totally
think
worth it. I just was curious.
it's not
Yeah.
crazy at all. Yeah. In summary,
Okay.
our message could be ping identity will help Cal Private Bank owns crown jewels, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Action plan, research, warm introduction, direct outreach, meeting, follow up and nurturing. It even says what to say, which is pretty rad. For example, say thank you for your time. The close and next steps, outreach messaging tips. Here's the email that you should write. Hey Scott, congratulations, blah blah blah. Here you go. Here's your
You're a
email.
stud.
Here's your LinkedIn message to send. Follow-ups,
Important because no one reads the email.
checklist of actions, and there you go. So that's the whole. So from this prompt, which is a crappy prompt, and these crappy answers, you got an amazingly complex, detailed response for it all.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Finding
is
out.
making PDF.
I don't know. We'll see. I've never done it.
You know what's crazy, guys, is just because we know the account so well, those are
It
all.
is.
Oh yeah, without the
That's what's
citation. Look at that.
amazing. Is
Without
that
site,
yeah.
that's exactly what I was wondering. Without citation markers, so if you wanted to deliver this to a client, you'd be all set.
Oh yeah. Why doesn't wait? Not this one. This one.
Sorry, Don. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying, like, I've always used Zoom Info and it's always been like a month or two behind, maybe 6 months behind. That,
Zoom info?
yeah, that
I
is
never heard of
crazy.
that.
Yeah, but
Okay,
that's
now
All right,
post
crazy.
I have to
the.
get on a call,
Okay, no worries.
so I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yep. I'm gonna post these videos that we just made here in Slack on the general channel, so you can kind of see the output. Because it's not just the seeing; it's the hearing. The audio is as important as the
Oh
video
my
that you're
God,
seeing here.
totally.
And then here's, oh
It's
yeah,
so
here's a.
slick looking. It's just ridiculous.
So there's that image, that image. So let's try this one, and now let's do. So we want to animate it. We'll do. Let's just do low motion just to see what happens. We'll kick that thing off. So that's running. We'll see what happens. These things, I post them. There we go. So I just posted the videos in Slack under general. So check them out, play them with sound on, and let me know what you think.
It's pretty good.
Let's see. Here's, oh, they're not done yet. They're almost done. So it created, now you can give it the script. You can say, you can give it the characters. You can say who's interacting with what. You can say, you can give it as much detail as you want to make it as specific as you want. But you can tell with just what it made up with the text and the lip sync. I mean, it looks, you have to really pay attention to know it's not real.
That's what I was saying. It could be kind of crazy if we could figure out a way to say, hey, make this into a 2 minute video. How would you explain this health check that we'd like to perform? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then do something like that. Or we service this ELP program for paying identity. How would you explain this to our customers? This is what we do. These are the outcomes we provide. 2 minute
Yeah.
video or 60-second video, whatever.
Yep. You can see here, like these videos are all just made right here. There's no,
What is
now
this?
Mid
What is
Journey.
this?
So I set it to make this image, just an image, whatever. So it made this image, and then I chose to animate it. So it made them into movies. They made four different versions.
And this is the same one that you made that movie off of, or a different site?
No, this is Mid Journey. This one's different, but it doesn't do audio. So it's
Oh,
cool, but there's no audio attached to it like the Google ones. So
so
that's
that
the big
was
downside in Mid Journey.
what was that called, Adam? That I'm gonna play around with that tomorrow. What was it called? Google what? Those videos?
VO3. So it's
VO3.
yeah, Google VO3 in Flow. So you have to you you go to Google Flow and then in there use the VO3 model to do it. So you can see right here. So I'm in Flow right now,
Uh-huh.
and then over here you can set the quality. So you set the quality to 3 with audio. Beta audio is the one you want, and that's how you get these videos. And then what you can do is you can say, "Oh, I like this one," so add to scene, and then I can add more videos to my scene, and then I can create a whole like thing that plays through.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So that
That's
is that's oh this thing is still I shouldn't have used O3 Pro to do this. That was a waste
people
of
are using chat, but I haven't seen anyone use that yet.
right. So there's a ton of advantages there for sure. Um let's see here. Second. Okay, so now let's see, I'll go back. Let me cancel this share. Okay, so now let's talk code a little bit and IDEs and next level stuff. Share. There we go. Okay, let me know if you can see the screen okay.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. So I'm just gonna show you real quick. Actually, you know what? Let me show you my snippets first. I'll show you some of my prompts, like some things that I've saved from prompting perspective. Just to give you an insight on that a little bit. Let me see here. There we go. Okay. So these are some of my prompts. So when I prompt, these would be like my average prompts, and these are like some that I use, like, oh, this one's good. I'm gonna want to reuse it and just kind of tweak it later. So like this one here, I want you to use, and then you can reference. So this at sign is to reference a specific file. So it takes this whole Python file, reads all the code, and then acts on it down here. So I want you to use this file so it knows that this is the file it's going to modify, and then reference on how to accomplish the following. Make a new script to load all the customers, blah, 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 with this details. I want the list of this. You basically see like I'm using like even variables by using caps in here so it knows it's referring to the same thing everywhere. So you can do that throughout. So like, and then also like file names. So I'm telling it to use this as a template. So this is a code that I've already made that works. And it has the right API calls or whatever that I'm using. So it's like, hey, I want you to use this as an example because I've already figured it out here. Now make a new script that references that so it learns on how to do it from this one. Here's all the stuff I want to do. And here's what I'm saying. I want all the reports to be in a CSV file, markdown, whatever. The reports should be easy to consume. I want one report for each code and one report for each day. Put all the reports in a subdirectory, no need for correlation, whatever. And just blah, blah, blah. Here's my prompt. Now, the bottom, this is important here, is you see I'm saying use context 7 and Brave search to ensure you're doing everything right. So what's this? So within here, you can use MCP servers. MCP servers are effectively gateways between LLMs and APIs. So just think of it like an MCP server is the API endpoint for an LLM. It's probably the best way to put it. So it lets you interact with external systems with your LLM. You don't have to make API calls. So one of them that I use a lot is called Context 7. It's meant for LLMs, and what it is it's a complete list of documentation of API docs. So let me show you here. Let me share screen. So this is Context 7. So you can look up like freaking anything, honestly. I wonder if Ping's in here. Identity? I don't know what these things are. What would be like a library? Ping is probably a little bit too specific. Trying to think of something. AWS API Gateway. AWS Amplify. Let's just go with that one for right now, because all right, so AWS Amplify, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Amplify. There. So this is what the LLM would get back for if you say, give me 10,000 tokens. Here's the response that it gets back. And it's all the information on how to use AWS Amplify in a way for an LLM to use it. Now, the benefit of this is when I set up my MCP server, which I'll show you here. Let's go back to cursor. Okay. When you set up your MCP servers, let's see, it's the best way to get there. Probably here. And then we have tools and integrations. So here's the MCP servers. It's literally just a JSON file like this. So here's how you set up to connect to that to context 7. You give it a name, the command, and then this is the MPC server that I want to connect with. And this is just saying to pass yes, so it doesn't prompt me for yes, no responses all the time. So now if I say, let's say I'm talking to my system, right, a simple go to query AWS Amplify server. So I don't know, whatever this is. We're just going to put this for right now. So I'm just going to tell it to just do something stupid. Oh crap. My rules have it built in. But anyway, so what's happening is it's going to say, okay, um, I need to figure out how do I talk to AWS Amplify. And what it normally does is just goes, well, what do I know? Right? What have I been trained on? And then it just does that. The next thing it might do if it doesn't have all the information there, is it might then just do a quick web search for AWS Amplify, and then it might figure out some information that way. Now, if you tell it to use context 7, because I have this MCP server in place, now what it's going to do is it's going to go and read this LLM created documentation that's specifically made for this particular SDK or whatever interface I'm trying to go to. So it knows exactly how to make those calls. So there is no guessing. There is no training. It doesn't really matter. I don't even know why is it going so slow. It's crazy. Let's just use this to move things faster. There we go. So let's see what it does. Model provided invalid arguments to terminal tool. Okay, so here's how it wrote a sec. Now, let's say I'm going to take this a little bit farther. Yep, good. No? Okay. Okay, so now so it did it all, but now I want to say use context 7. Oh. So now you can see here. So first is what it does is it calls context 7 to find the right documentation. So it found it right away. That's why like me searching for it's kind of pointless because it knows how to find the right one in itself. Then from there, after it finds it, now it goes through and finds all the tools available and says, okay, now give me everything I need about AWS 7. And here it is. Here's all the data that came back on how to use the Amplify stuff, and it loads it all back into the AWS. So now it's saying, I got the right model. Now give me all the docs. So again, this is another MCP server call to the Context 7 MCP server, and now it's getting all the information about Amplify and what it needs to do. That same stuff I just showed you, but now it has it, and now it has all the real information exactly what to do, right? So with that, now you'll see this one. Now it's saying, hey, okay, I have all this. Since context 7 search didn't yield direct results for shell scripting, I'm going to use Brave search. So this is another MCP server that I have here called Brave search. And this is going to use the Brave browser to then go search the web and find the actual results. So here's the query is sent into Brave search. And then it's got the information back of all it does. So now it has all the calls directly made for an LM, how to make the call. It went and found all the information how to make the shell script, exactly what it needs to do. Then it went and made the script of everything I need to do and told me how to put it in place. So this is why, like when you use these MCP servers, it can make you way more massively beneficial. It's like this one here, this file system one. This lets me read and write to any file across my whole file system, even outside the project. What you do is you just give it the paths of where it's allowed to go, and then you can restrict it even further in the rules about saying what it can and can't do. So you can give it access to your full thing. There's another one, which I haven't installed on this computer, I haven't installed on my other one, called Puppeteer, where it will launch a browser window, take a screenshot of it, and then import the screenshot so that it can view what it's developing. If you're making graphical front end, like that kind of stuff. So that's really cool too. So MCP servers are huge. This is where the big development is going in LLMs because we will never make an LLM, right? Like you have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars just to train these models before they're even useful nowadays. So that's never going to happen. But, and this is everything is leading to this point here. MCP servers, like I was saying, they are the interface to the real world applications that we already work with. So now, let's say you're working with ping fed and you want to create a new policy. Well, now if you're like, hey, so now what you're going to have to do is open up ChatGPT. You're going to have to go in and say, hey, I need to make a new ping fed policy. You're going to hope it knows what you're talking about because it probably doesn't. Because all the documentation is gated, so it can't get to it. And it's going to come up with some answer, and hopefully it's right. And then you got to copy paste back and forth, and it's a nightmare. I'm sure everyone on here has gone down that path. Well, let's say we have an MCP server that connects directly to our ping fed instance. Now what I can do, let's say in here I had an MCP server called pingfed, and I pointed it to the pingfed server and gave it the bearer token to connect with through the environment variables. Now all I have,
Sorry, I missed it. What is MCP?
Model Context Protocol. It is the interface for LLMs to interact with applications, pretty much anything. It's the API interface for LLMs. That's the best way to put
Okay.
it. So now I can come into here and I could say, connect to pingfed and create a new policy that allows all internal users to connect after 5 p.m. Use the default policy as a template. And then I could just hit go. It's not going to do anything because it doesn't know what the hell to do for this. But if I had an MCP server, now what it's going to do is it's going to connect to the MCP, connect to the pingfed server. It's going to find the default policy, pull back all well, there's JSON or whatever or XML, whatever the information is that it's being stored for that policy. Then it's going to go and figure out how to create a new policy. And then it's going to create that policy in pingfed. Then what you do is you chain it. Once created, then test the policy. Now, after it makes it, it's going to go and actually make a call to pingfed again and test it. Or it might not even do that over MCP. It might do that via Brave search
So
using
is it going to use
Brave search.
PingFed API calls? Is it going to work on the file system, or are they going to do it through like a headless Chromium where it actually does it through the web pages?
So right now there is no pingfed MCP server. This is all proof. This is all a idea.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying like this is what if we had a pingfed MCP server, what would happen is the
Oh,
pingfed
okay.
MCP server would be interfacing with the actual API of pingfed, but the LLM would interface with the MCP server. So the MCP server translates the LLM calls to API calls, and then when the response comes back, the MCP server translate that response into a format that LLMs use. So then I can say, okay, now validate this using,
Well,
Chromium,
looks like
whatever.
there's a Puppeteer MCP server.
Yep.
And if
Yeah.
that's the case, you could use PingFed because it can actually browse the site.
Yeah, but you don't need to do that. You can just call directly to the APIs.
I,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
So
going to
that's
ask. It sounds like it means that all the companies, ideally, all the companies will have to start developing out MCP, and then we can then, I guess, hook up the AIs to connect to these MCPs, right, for these specific
right.
applications.
Exactly. Ask me how many
I
people are
see.
doing that.
Zero.
Correct. You know how I know that? Because at
What?
Identiverse,
Really?
I went to every booth and asked them. I was like, so what are you guys doing? And they all looked at me like I had a third eye in the middle of my forehead. Maybe that would have been a good idea. Maybe like I had an arm growing out of my forehead. They had no idea what I was talking about. They're like, oh yeah, our engineering team's totally working on that. Like it's total canned responsive. I have no idea. There were two companies actually working with MCP servers, and they were doing it the right way, and they were awesome. But they're way ahead of their time, and they're just doing what they're doing is they're building enterprise solutions around existing MCP servers. So let me show you just kind of what's out there. One second. Page here. Go share. There you go. So this is kind of not the official list, but definitely one of the biggest lists. So you can see everything that's in here. Third-party servers. I mean, this list is insane. And these are just like the more popular ones. I don't even know, like hundreds of thousands of MCP servers out there that people have just built in their own repos and whatever. But these are just the
Well, it
ones that are like widely supported. Here's Auth0. I guarantee you someone built an Okta one,
do
and here's
search
the
for
Okta one right
ping.
here. Nope. Like, let's look at the Okta one. Right. So here's the Okta MCP server. Interact with the Okta API. So setup instructions. Go to the developer console, sign in, create an API token. blah, 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 configure Claude desktop. Basically, here's what you put in. You plop that in, and you put your Okta API token, you put the server here, and then here's what you can do. Get user, this is what you get. List users, suspend user, activate user, unsuspend user. These are all the tools available by this MCP server. So, and this is just made, I guarantee you this wasn't even made by Okta. Let's see who had made this. I don't even know. Oh, nothing really. I don't even know who made this thing. Oh, this guy? Yeah, this person.
Here's a way to do it. If Ping has an open API spec, which I think they do, you can feed that. Here's an open source project, Auto MCP. You can feed that and make your own MCP server based off of the open API spec.
100%. You can absolutely use
Here,
you can absolutely use AI to create MCP servers for you.
I just pasted that. It's not AI. It's doing it from an API spec.
No, what
So
I'm
I just
saying
pasted that. Yeah.
is that you can use AI to make your MCP server because
Yeah.
the API spec is just that's what it needs to make the server, right? So anyway, the whole point is that there is a massive untapped market for the world that we're in right now, where if we had MCP servers and we hosted them, because that's the thing is the servers, it's a server. Think of it like an agent that runs on these boxes, right? These agents have to be hosted, they have to run somewhere. So these MCP servers, imagine this. Imagine we had a boatload of MCP servers that we spun up in a private siloed environment for a client. And now they can call and they can reach to all of their ping servers. They can reach to all their ForgeRock stuff. They can reach all of their Azure stuff, whatever. It doesn't matter. Endless stuff, tools that we use, PAM tools, obscure tools that no one else uses, whatever. Now they can use their on-prem LLMs to interact with all their systems. They can query ping fed just by chatting with it. And then you could build entire tools and infrastructures that use the LLM as the backend tool to interact with these things. So now you literally have an entire frontier AI model that can interact with your identity management tools, your provisioning tools, whatever you want to use. And then on the front end, it can, like, hey, who has access to this server right now? And it will figure out who has access right now and spit you out the list real time. No logs, no exports, none of that crap. Now here's where the
Wow.
fun part gets. A couple weeks ago, Stripe introduced MCP micropayments. So now you can charge someone to use your MCP server for every time they hit it, like micropennies, essentially. And you just kind of bill them, and then at the end of the month they get charged $20. Or they put in $20, and it just deducts 1/100th of a cent every time they call this one, or it costs $1 every time you call this one. You set it up whatever you want. So now we could build out our own whole set of MCP servers that we can host that connect to all these different identity systems and open them up for people to use, and then we can charge them basically by use, or we can make them private and we can just charge them on a flat monthly fee. We can do whatever we want to do because no one else is making these. Like no one has a clue what these things even are, and this is the next API, if you will. Like APIs will obviously always exist to interface with software, but LLMs are the world. So this is kind of where I'm going. So what I want everyone to do really is to, from the developer standpoint, is to really start playing around with Claude Code Sonnet 4, or it's not Claude. Oh, well, Claude Code we'll get into it in a second, but Cursor with Sonnet 4, so you really have a good solid understanding there, and then start installing some MCP servers. Start playing with them. Start going through that list. Just Google MCP. Or I'll put the website in here so you just have it. Did I close it already? I did. Hold on. But I want you guys to start playing with them, using them, see like because there's so many, it's stupid. And then from there, what I want to start doing is I want to start building our own MCP servers. So once you start playing with them, build one. You can build one in no time. Literally like what you just said. You find the API doc and you say, hey, make me an MCP server that connects to this server. Here's the API doc. and go and start playing with that. Because what I want to
Well, no,
do,
I was sharing that you don't even need to do it with AI. You literally, it's a system that already exists. You just give it the API thing and it does it. You don't have to start
that's
it in with AI.
how am I going to interface with it? If I'm in my LLM, how do I interface with PingFed?
You give it the PingFed APIs. Here, pull up the link I put
Where
in
is it?
the in
In
Zoom
Zoom.
chat.
Okay. Zoom chat. Okay. Let me share so everyone else can see what we're doing. Okay.
So PingFed has admin APIs. You take that API spec, feed it to this, and it builds your MCP server immediately.
Okay. I'll have to look at it. Let me see. Let's see.
So it looks like if there's any REST service that has an API spec, hold on.
Yeah, these are going to be super limited though. Like once you play with them, once you start playing with the back end of MCP servers, what you can do. Like this is good for like for playing around, sure, but it's only going to limit you to what these commands, these interfaces are. Imagine like imagine if you could go into each one of these gets and like when it comes back, then you format the data in a specific way that you want. Or you do a get of users and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
after that
yeah.
you connect to something else and get more data to do whatever. So this is neat, but it's not the same. Once you play with them, you'll see. But yeah, no, it's a good idea. But yeah, so in here I put them on. Okay, good, I did. So now from a sales perspective, right now there really isn't going to be much demand for it because most people still scared about putting LLMs into their enterprise. But that is fading. Like there's everyone's is going to by the end of this year, by beginning of next year, everyone is going to have an LLM internally to be using. And then they're all going to be start looking at MCP servers next year because they're going to have these LLMs available and they're going to have these on-prem servers like Splunk or HashiVault or whatever, and there's no way for them to talk to each other except over an MCP server. So if we come out and we build these MCP servers, imagine if we built an MCP server for every ping product, and then all of a sudden ping realizes they need MCP servers, and we've already been selling them, and we've already built them all out. We have the entire, and we have it so you can charge for them. And you do that for every single company we do. We could build them all in like a month. Like it wouldn't even, and that's like part-time, just kind of messing around. Like
Yeah.
it's a whole new thing that's coming. So that's really where I'm trying to gear this whole conversation is first, I want you guys to play with Cursor AI with Claude 4, get used to it, and start installing some of these MCP servers, start playing with them, and then build one. Just pick any app that you would want to talk to, like, just for fun, just so you can just get ideas of how they work. Because then what I want to do is start putting together an MCP server library of all these tools and vendors that we work with that everyone's ignoring because it will give us a huge advantage. And imagine the demos we could walk in and show people. Like it blow their minds. They'd have no idea what the hell's going on, especially when you use Olama, right? Because you can run these models locally on your laptop and then say, hey, what is your give me the host name of of your server and a bearer token. You plug those into your environment variables, and now your laptop is now interfacing with the entire identity management stack using natural language. And we could do that in days, like right now, if we wanted to, if we knew what we were doing. So that's like the big overarching thing of what I really want to get you guys to check out because it's where everything's going, not just identity, just it's where everything software is going is to these MCP servers.
And that's your point. This is not limiting us to just identity. This could be used for anything.
Everything. So MCP was
Yeah.
created by Anthropic, the Claude creators,
Yeah.
and it became legit when OpenAI came out and said they're supporting MCP servers too. So now it is the protocol of how LLMs interface with software. So this is 100, not, this isn't the future. This is happening now everywhere and it's exploding like wildfire. It's just people just don't know about it that aren't actively using it. So I really want to get everyone to know about that. The last thing I want to show you guys just real quick is just kind of like a little bit level of a crazy level of prompting that I kind of go through as an example. Um, so when I do my prompts, when I do a build out, like I said, I'm going to build out a new project, what I like to do is first treat it like a project, like an actual project. So the first thing I want to do is build out a PRD, like a design doc. Like I want to build out every feature that this thing's going to have, how it works, the use cases. I want to explain what it is. I want all the error handling. I want everything designed out before I do anything. And when I'm done, what I wind up with is something like this. This is my PRD, Project Requirements and Design. So it has a summary of what it is, table of contents, brand identity, the core platform features, age verification. This is all the feature stuff, content generation, how the whole thing works. Like this is how everything works in the app from beginning to end. And this is actually a pretty mild one, honestly. Then from here, I will then pass this in and say, hey, I want you to build me an app like this. And the way that I do that is like this. So let me just do this real quick.
So this is Cursor, not Windsurf.
Right. Yeah. Windsurf doesn't allow you to use Claude 4. And without Claude 4, it's useless. Okay. So all I did here, let me switch this to 4. So in here, just real quick for a little bit of difference, if you're coming from Windsurf, when you pick your model, you see the little brain? That means that's the thinking model. So make sure you're always using the thinking models, not the non-thinking ones.
What's the difference between them?
The thinking model actually does chain of thought. So instead of just saying,
Okay.
hey, what's the answer? Here's the answer. It says, hey, what's the answer? Okay, let me think
Yeah.
about this. You know how like when you go on the
Well,
website, you see it thinking? It's doing that. It's
yeah.
more reasoning.
Well, my question is the thinking model more expensive than the non-thinking
Yes.
model?
Yes. But
Okay.
you'll be fine with Sonnet. When you use Opus, you're gonna get just ridiculous. I mean, you're gonna burn through $100 in tokens in a day. It's stupid expensive. There's a way around that using Claude Code, which you can also do. It's command line. I've just recently switched over to it and started using it. And you can even install all
Okay.
your MCP servers and everything here, but it's all command line terminal based. But it's way more powerful, and you can use Opus unlimited pretty much in here. So it's way better.
Oh,
But
okay.
this is like advanced level um, LLM stuff, IDE shit. So I wouldn't worry about it right this second. First, just kind of play with here to get your feet wet. So now what I'll do is, okay, so I did hi there. Hola. Just give me one second. Just wanted to do this. Hey, there we go. Now, the reason I did this may look stupid, but like when you're in here, you can revert back to when something has been changed, right? So if I go to this, like here, I can say add a change of period, add this. Oh, wait, actually, let me do this. Right. I don't need, this is drastic overkill. Okay, here. Make a file call version.md and put version in it. I just want to make a change of some kind. Because what I'm doing is I'm literally using this as a rollback feature. So I can do changes everywhere else within the project. And then if I don't like it, I can just revert back. There we go. I accept this. There. So now if I want, I can now from here, I can go and use Cloud Code. I can do all kinds of other stuff. And if I want, I can just come back here and restore a checkpoint. And I'm going to go back to right where I'm at right now.
And that's
So,
because you put the version in then.
well, I just did something. I just made a change of some kind. So it
Oh,
noted
okay. Okay.
yeah, that's literally the only reason I did it. So now I'm going to show you Taskmaster. This is where shit gets crazy. So the first thing I did is I made this PRD file, right? Like we already went over this. This is all the details. Now the way I did that is I just talked into the microphone, voice recorder on my phone, and just talked to in a transcript of I spent like a half hour explaining everything I want to make. Then I took the transcript, threw into Otter, took the voice thing, threw into Otter, got the transcript, and I have the transcript right here. This is me talking about everything I want. And then I took the transcript and then I made the PRD files. You'll see, like I made one with Claude, I made one with Gemini, I made one with ChatGPT, and one with Grok. Then I fed all four of these together and made a unified one with everything mixed together that I liked into one big PRD file. Now
So
what
did
I'm
you
doing,
manually make that unified, or you had another
no,
LLM
absolutely not.
process them all?
Absolutely. LLMs do everything. So now what I would do is I go and I use this tool called Taskmaster. So to do that, we just kick this thing off here. So Taskmaster init, which creates an initial file. It's going to overwrite the one I already made. There we go. Yep. Yep, that's fine. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, there we go. So now it's configuring all the models. So now, what model do I want to use for generation and updates? So I'm going to use Claude 3.7 Sonnet. That's fine.
What are the
What do I want to
pricing?
use?
What's the pricing referring to?
This is how much for input tokens and output tokens, the cost.
So,
I think it's
oh,
like
so it
per million.
analyzes your PRD file and then tells you how much it would cost.
No, no, this is like so for per million tokens. So for every million tokens of input, it costs
Oh,
a buck
oh, okay,
35. This way
okay.
you know what the costs are of which model. So it's like, oh, I'm going to use Perplexity's Sonar Pro for research because it's the best one. But it's $3 per million input tokens. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's just so you know it's a more expensive model. So let's say that's what I'm using, right? So I'm gonna use the Perplexity for research. I'm gonna leave that alone. Fallback model, let's use Cloud 3.5. Who cares? There we go. So now my system is ready to go. Next thing you want to update your environment variable here, to put in your keys for all the models that you're going to use. So I've already done that in the env file. Now what we do is we do this. So is it docs? I forget what to do. Anyway, we'll do it this way. So now I'm going to do taskmaster parse PRD, and then I'm going to give it the unified PRD, oops, .md file. So now what it's going to do is it's going to read my PRD file. So it looks like you've already generated tasks as projects. Yeah, that's fine. So you can see the MCP server is detected. Yep. That's important because there's an MCP server that's connecting to this Taskmaster app here. So now once these tasks are done, I can come over here and just say, start the first task. And it knows to go to Taskmaster and find all the tasks on what to create. Whether I'm creating entire projects of code or I'm making an SOW, I'm making a huge documentation or a pitch or whatever, this is how I do it. If I'm making an SOW, you know those, like Sam, you know how when we send out those questionnaires, hey, here's 100 questions, and they give us all the
Yep.
answers back, I throw
Yep.
all those questions and answers into here, and then I make that PRD file with all those Q&A, and then I say, make me all the tasks that are needed for an SOW. And then it creates the whole
Wow,
task of everything it needs to create. And once this thing is done here, we'll show you like what it generates and how detailed it kind of gets and what it makes, which is
this is scary.
and actually I'm gonna see if I can while it's running, I'm gonna see if I can find actually that one that we did for let's see, clan code. Let's see. Who was that for? Did we do one for that? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So now all the tests have been successfully generated. So now let's see what it made. Should get rid of this for now. Here we go. So here's the breakdown. So here's the current task progress. Everything's blocked. What's all the dependencies? So we can see here's all the tasks: implement AI conversation, develop mood board, build the content generation, implement viewing models, the status, the priority, and all the dependencies. So it knows which ones it needs to make first. So now what we want to do though is this: expand.
Can this integrate with Jira?
Oh, you could make a MCP server. I guarantee you, if you look on that list that I just sent you, I bet there's a Jira one in there. Let me see. Jira. Yep.
Yeah, because that would be
There's
incredible if you could take this taskmaster, have it create the Jira stories and stuff for you based
if
on what it
if
built.
you install the Atlassian MCP server, you can.
Jesus.
So now that that's done, now I'm going to analyze complexity. So,
Wow.
well, actually, first, you know what? Let me do
So
this. I'm going to
basically, this could replace the Scrum Master.
easily, easily. I'm not. We haven't even started talking about NAN and LangChain. Like that's a whole different world. So now this
What
thing
was
is
the
going to
first word you said?
LangChain.
Before
So
that,
N8N.
NAN, yeah.
So think of it like DaVinci for LLMs, but
Oh,
way better than DaVinci could ever be. Okay, so now we did the complexity. So now what I'm going to do, I'll show you the complexity report that it just generated. So out of all the tasks I told it to make, here's how hard it thinks that task is going to be. So it's like, that's going to be crazy hard. So wow, that's crazy. So I should break down these tasks into subtasks. So otherwise it's going to be too complicated. So a way to do that is I just come in here and I can just, since they're all hard, I'm just going to expand all of them. I'm going to kick that off. So now what it's doing is it's going to each task and say, okay, what are all the subtasks that I should make to break this down into more manageable units so that I can go through and make this thing run. So now it's just going through and generating all. This might take a little bit, so we're going to let this run.
is this kind of what you were demoing with Discover?
No, this is so far beyond anything I discovered that we'll ever have. It's pointless.
Oh, because they're stuck with Copilot.
For them, I just did an hour talk about how to do prompts because
Okay.
and I showed them Copilot and then like what a good prompt is and a bad prompt is. You should threaten the LLMs, all that kind of fun stuff. Um, but yeah, so that's like, you know, pretty much the gist of it. The other thing you want to make sure, I didn't really go into it too much here, but the other thing you want to play with for sure are rules. So if you go into here, you can see, let me bring this down. I was thinking rules. Doink. This is the global rule. So these are my rules that I have. You know what? I'll actually copy these out. I'll put them in chat so you can see them.
This is like your global prompt.
Right. So this is my global rule file. And this means every time I pass a message in to the LLM, it sends all these in with it every single time. I wonder what this is. Weird, whatever. So like, oh, hello. Oh, there we go. So even this, when I sent this message, before this message, it sent all those rules I just sent you in addition to this. And then you can also do local files. So if you see over here, there's ones for Claude,
Yeah.
and then there's also ones here in Cursor, rules. And so I can make specific ones here. So here's ones just for this particular project. Here's my dev workflow that I want to use. And Taskmaster made all these, by the way. When I ran the init, it created all of this stuff.
All of
Um,
which, sorry, I was reading the rules. All of which stuff it create.
all
Oh,
these rules
oh,
here, all
okay.
the local rules that it's created, all these, it made all of them when I did that
Okay.
init command. So the rules are super important and helpful because it lets you don't have to keep repeating yourself. You can make variables. So like you'll see, like I have one in there in my global one called the Lambda loop. So
Uh-huh.
now I can just say, hey, fix this and use Lambda loop. And then it knows to go and follow steps 1 through 6. So it's going to try to make the code, package it up, invoke the Lambda, pull the CloudWatch logs, check the sources to make sure it's working. If it doesn't work, start over and repeat and keep going until it's fixed.
Oh,
So
jeez. This is
I have a prompt somewhere in my little list over here that says like, hey, this is what I want to do. It will go out and create the Lambda. It will, I mean, in AWS, it will actually make the Lambda itself. It
yeah.
will code up the Lambda. It will deploy the code to the Lambda. It will create the API gateway. It will link them together. It will create all the NAT rules and the permissions. It will create whatever rules and triggers I want to have. and then test it all, read the CloudWatch logs, and then keep looping until the whole thing works with one prompt.
Oh my God.
So, and that's where you want to get to, because like all that stuff is just tedious work, right? Like creating all that dumb stuff is like you just have to do it, but you don't have to think to do it. You just got to sit there and go through all the steps. When you create a good prompt, you don't have to do that anymore. Now you can just hit a button, and all you got to say is, I want a Lambda that will do X, Y, and Z and connect to this server, and here's the IP and all this stuff. You give it all the details, and then use my auto Lambda create method that you have in a rule somewhere and hit the button, and then it will just create everything and test the whole thing until it's completely done. So now here we
Can
go.
you find that auto lambda create? Because I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'll look for it. All right, now let's look
'Cause
at my.
that's a mind explosion for me right there. To
Yep.
do all that AWS infrastructure work without doing
Okay.
anything at all.
So these are our tasks that we started with, right? Now
Hmm.
let's look at, now that we should have subtasks, we're going to look at everything that's actually there. There we go. So this is the full
Oh
task
my
list now
goodness.
of everything that needs to be created all the way top down. So now what it's going to do is I can just go here and it's going to say, okay, what's the next task? Next task is number 11, and the first thing, and here's all the details of it. To start working, I can do this, run this command and blah, 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 right from the terminal. Or I can just do something like this. I can pop this bad boy open here, and I can just come here and just say, there you go. Start going. Most important task first. Then I can say, repeat until all tasks for number 11 and subtasks are done.
You did subs test. You did
Doesn't matter.
substack almost.
That's the beauty of the shit. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You can make misspellings, doesn't matter. So now it's going to go through. You can see here. You can see what it's thinking. So it's using, you saw that for a second there, it
I
showed,
saw it said MCP.
yep, using the
Yep, yep,
Taskmaster
yep, yep.
MCP server. It calls, what's the next task? Here's the details of it. Now get that task. Okay, here's all the stuff I need to do, like all the details of it that you don't see on the screen there. Now it knows, now it's setting the task status to in progress. So now if we come over here, show it again. Look, it's in progress. Now we know it's working. And we can see our progress bar filling up. So we can actually just sit here and watch this thing do the job. And it's just going to run through and do this stuff perpetually. Now I'm like, okay, this is good. But now I've messed up my project that I've already done all this for. So that sucks. Which is why I can come back to here and just restore. Done. And my whole file system goes back to how it was, like it never happened. And it's all gone. So once you start really getting a lot of these bigger tools under your belt, you'll be able to do monumental things that other people don't even know about. Like this is a whole nother front end a PRD file made just to do front end stuff. I mean, it's crazy what you can do. Another thing is create demo files. So what I did is I can show you this one. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay, so this is the thing I'm kind of working on here. So here's the design doc that I made, right, to do the stuff. Here's all the APIs. So this is, you'll see here, this is my rules. I made this originally in Windsor. You're an AI assistant, blah, blah, blah. If you have to make changes to the API, make sure the Lambda is updated to handle the changes. So it knows to update the Lambda. Make sure it has all these files. Here's the API endpoint. If you need to make a new Lambda, blah, blah, blah. All API gateways, blah, 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 blah. So then the other thing is I have other rules going on that say every time you make a new like API endpoint, update the API endpoint doc. So I know what they all are. So then another file I can say, okay, now that I've made all these API endpoints, now I can tell it here, if you're making the front end, here's all your API endpoints. Now, this is the thing I
Wow.
wanted to show though. This is a style guide that I made. So what I do here, this is just an HTML file, right? Nothing crazy. So let me show you what it looks like.
You could probably just use Shift Command V and see a preview of it, Adam. Inside the code editor.
Shift Command V.
Because I know for Markdown it will do that.
Shift Command V is not doing anything.
Oh, I guess for HTML. Well, if you do that with Markdown, it'll actually give you a preview of it.
Okay. So this is what it is. So this is just like a demo, just to show like what I want the style. So I sat here and I just tweaked to make this thing look like how I want it to look and how it should react, what the buttons should do. You know, it's just a
Hmm.
style guide essentially. And whoop, dark mode, whatever. So now all I got to do now here is come in here. So I can say make a welcome page, welcome HTML, and use the style guide. See how I reference the file explicitly
Hmm.
as a template. And then just hit the button. So now it's just going to go ahead and make some random ass login page or welcome page. So we'll see what it does. But it's going to go through and read all the CSS, the JavaScript, the layout, like the fonts that I use, all this stuff, and know to use that as a template. So now when it makes this front end page, I'm willing to bet dollars and donuts it's going to look just like that style that I just sent you, pretty close. Like I would imagine pretty really good, honestly, at this point in stage with the way the LLMs are now. So it's making some welcome page. We'll see what it looks like here in a second when it's done. Any questions while it's doing this, by the way?
So my mind is blown.
Yeah, how
I think
much are
for
you
me,
spending
gotta
per
play with
month
it.
on the AI stuff?
What was that question?
How much are you spending per month, would you say, on like
Money
tokens
wise, dollars,
and
like for
subscription? Yeah.
subscriptions and stuff. Well, I'm paying $20 for ChatGPT. I'm paying nothing for Grok. I just use the free one. Or no, I'm paying 60 for ChatGPT, so therefore it doesn't train on my data. Gemini, I'm paying 20 so that I can use the VO3. Or no, I'm paying 100 a month for VO3, sorry, for the video generation. Midjourney, I think is like, I don't know. That one's pretty cheap. I think it's maybe 10. Then I have Claude. I'm paying so Claude through Claude Code for the usage that way. I'm paying I think $100 a month for that one. And then what else? That's really about it, honestly. Oh, sorry,
Do you
it's
need
done.
to pay for a lot of tokens to kind of refill, or
Nah,
is it like enough stuff?
never.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now we open this up.
And
Here's
what
my
like if you had to pick and choose, like what's the bare minimum you would pay for?
the bare minimum would
So you have
be
like
Claude.
$200.
I would buy Claude Code, the max
I
plan,
thought
because
Claude
that's
Code is
$100.
free. Oh,
Well, Claude Code is, but it's like if there's subscription on Claude for Claude Max or something, whatever they call it, it's like $100 a month. That's the one you want. Because what it'll do is you'll have unlimited access to their Opus 4, which there's actually a script you can run out there called like CC usage or something like that. And it will show you how much money you've saved. Um,
you did we lose you guys?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Did we lose Adam?
That's who it sounds like we lost.
Hello? Hello, hello.
Hey.
There you
Okay,
are.
cool. Sorry, my microphone died. Been talking too much. I forget where I left off, but oh, I'll just install the CC usage. Give me 1 second here, just to show you the difference of cost savings. Let me see. share screen. This. Okay. Pop up in the terminal here. Go.
Oh my goodness, this is AWS documentation MCP server. Or
There you go. So far, I've used $180 worth of tokens. Let's see. Let's see my daily usage. There you go. So yeah, so I'm using like $100 a day almost in token costs for using Opus 4 for my development. But
but that's
when you
it
yeah,
if you're
that's if you pay.
subscribed.
Well, that's just if you're just paying via like API. Like if you were to use Windsurf, this is how much it would cost you per day.
Oh my God, 3 grand a month, basically.
Right. But if you sign up for Claude, here, let me switch over. So if you come over, there we go. Okay. Claude. Okay. Stupid things in the way. Can't. There we go. Yeah, the pro plan, I guess. Really? Yeah, pro plan. There you go. Yeah, max. This one here. So for $100 a month, I'm well, like I've seen people with like $6,000 worth of usage in like a week and still not hit the amount of tokens. So
Wow.
yeah, so there's a big savings by not using Windsurf. Like
But if you
big.
use Claude Pro, you have unlimited access to Claude Code. Through Claude Pro, you have unlimited access to Opus in the
Uh,
terminal.
you do, but you're limited. You're gonna hit your limits of token usage. So you can start here and see where you go. Um, but if you wind up hitting your token usage, then you're gonna want to upgrade to this one, and then you're not really gonna go past that. And then it gets even crazier for like higher stuff. But yeah. Um, but overall, AI is like 100% where everything is going. So from here, I just want to kind of do like a broad overview and just kind of do an eye opener just to show you guys what's out there and all the different capabilities that exist. Um, so that you can kind of just start getting the mind going. For all the devs that are out there, I want you guys to start playing with Cursor and MCP servers because this is 100% the future, and we're going to build an MCP platform for all these identity tools. Because what would be awesome would be like, hey, look, okay, what tools are you most familiar with right now? Like, oh, I'm working on PingFed, I'm DaVinci, I'm at ForgeRock IGA, whatever. Okay, cool. Make an MCP server for it. It's gonna take you like an hour to make the first one just because you just don't know what you're doing. And then after that, you can start tweaking it, add more tools to it. Then we can add it to our library, and we can build a huge library of these MCP servers that we control and manage, and then we can start using these things as leverage where no one else in this industry will even have a clue what the hell we're talking about, and we're just going to fly past everybody instantly. So that's kind of
Wow.
the roadmap here. And I wanted to put this all more formal, but I didn't want to wait anymore because I've just been putting it off and putting it off. So I just really thought this was probably just better just to do this.
Adam, it's awesome. And I love you guys, our new tagline. I think, oh, guys, and from there, we're just getting started. So I was kind of like saying our new little tagline at the end of our video, which I'm getting ready to send you out. Because it's so cool. It's awesome. And people, especially in that mid market, they really like to know that they're working with someone that's advanced thinking because they are not. Like when they're working with Goldman Sachs, they think they have all the smartest guys in the room. But that mid market that we so often find ourselves in, those folks know that they need folks like you guys here on the call to kind of guide them this way. So I think that that's why that's such a good thing. It's just amazing.
Yep. And imagine, and we can build a whole automated. I mean, the tools that we can make are so crazy; they're unlimited. Like at this point, we could create a chat bot on our box where it's like, hey, or on like where it's when we talk to a new client, we take the transcript. This is what I do. I'm just doing it manually right now, but you take the transcript of the meeting, you upload it, the audio file, upload it. It will take the transcript, rip it out there for you. Then it takes the transcript and says, okay, I need to make an SOW from this transcript. Go. Like I've built a process for SOWs because I keep getting asked to make them so much so fast all the time now that I have a process for SOWs where I can turn around a crazy intricate SOW in hours.
Jesus.
And it's way better than anything else anyone could ever do by hand. And so I want to get it to the point where I don't even have to be there because human in the loop is what slows everything down. Dawn will tell you 100% of the time, I'm the reason everything is slow because it's like it's waiting on me to deliver it. So if I can remove myself and where
Not to your
Dawn can
face
just,
will I say that
what was that?
though. Not to your face will I say that
Right.
though.
No problem.
Just
So
kidding.
now Dawn can basically go to these meetings, Dawn, Matt, whatever, whoever's in the calls, like a non-tech person, and then can take the transcript of the meetings, like let's say you have 5 different meetings and 20 different emails, upload all of them, and then say, make me an SOW, or make me an SOW that is, with a budget of 35 grand and a timeline of 10 weeks, and it will just spit it out. Like you come back in a
Wow.
half hour and here's your
Now,
document.
now, Adam. So obviously, this is just absolutely badass, fascinating. So making my head hurt. But I didn't curse. My 9-year-old yelled at me. Sorry. So do you recommend for training for some? Is there AI for sales dummies? Or something or just start using it. I mean, is it
Just start using it.
and to your just start using it. Now, for
Absolutely.
me, is Chat GPT okay, or do I need to buy the paid version to kind of just mention, what
So
you just mentioned with the statement
even
of work,
if
throwing in all those calls out of otter?
so what I would start with for everybody,
Uh-huh.
is the Cursor IDE. Just go to cursor.com and download it. It's this tool that I've been showing in black all the time. It may look scary to start just because it's mainly for code, but the second I realized that I can use this to create anything, not just code. I make full documents, project plans, um, API guides. I mean, you can make anything with this stuff. Just think of this as an interface with an LLM more than an IDE, and then you can go crazy.
Yeah, and I think because it's an IDE, you should get yourself familiar with Markdown because that's the lingua franca of all this. Markdown makes writing stuff much easier. It looks scary at first, but you can write formatted documents and
But you don't
really
have to write
concise
anymore.
stuff.
That's the whole
Exactly.
point. You
But you
shouldn't
can,
have to write
yeah,
code ever again right now. You should never have
no,
to
I'm not
write
talking
a
about
document
code.
ever again.
I'm saying if you understand Markdown, you'll understand the output of this better. That's
Hmm.
what I'm saying.
Correct.
Markdown is a very easy formatted syntax.
Yeah. So like here, real quick, I'll just show
And
you.
Markdown is like Cursor, or is that
I'll
different?
show
No,
you.
Markdown
I'm
is
still
a
not.
is a markup language.
Okay, so this here is Cursor, this whole interface here.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So now what we want to do is I lost my file window. Okay. So let's say you want to, I don't know, give me an example and then I'll feed off. I'll show you what I would do. Like what would be something you'd want to make? Hello? Did I lose him?
You might be thinking,
Let's
Hey,
let's
I'm
go
so
with
sorry. I
the
lost you a little
example
bit.
that you had. Like
I'm sorry?
let's try using like one of the meeting notes and then creating like some sort of document like SOW or something.
Sure. Okay, let me jump into Otter and grab one. The second. Oh. Okay, let's see. Ping identity. Okay, here's one. We just had that ping identity 4H call, right? I was doing a demo at this time, so I couldn't even really listen too well. But let's say they wanted a SOW out of this. I mean, it's vague as hell. So this is perfect.
That's awesome. And they want it quick, so this is amazing.
Yeah, this is basically what I'm given, which is I need this now. And I'm like, I need more information. Like, we don't have any. Okay. So I'm going to, I don't need that. Export. Okay. Open. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to call this transcript.text. There we go. Review. There. So here's the transcript of that meeting. Cool. Okay, so now I don't have all my SOW tools in here, so it's not going to be super rad. But here's how I would start this, assuming I didn't have anything. So I'm going to go over here, and the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're in agent mode. So agent mode means it's going to interact with the files, make changes, do all kinds of crazy shit. Ask is you're just talking with it, and it won't make any changes of any kind. So just kind of FYI there. So you want to make sure you're in agent mode because we're going to tell it to make files. And now you want to pick the right model. Now for documentation, I like using Gemini 2.5 Pro right here because I find Gemini to be more creative and to work like and speak like a human being more than Claude. Claude is more like your autistic guy, right? Like it's very just to the point, which is why it's really good for code, but it's really not as great on the creativity side. So Gemini 2.5, and now from here, I'm going to tell it as much detail as I possibly can. So first, to give myself kind of a head start, I'm going to go through my snippets over here. Let's see here. I'm going to find one generic SOW building. Perfect. I got one. So I'll show you my snippet that I already have. There. Okay, so I have this snippet here, generic SOW building. You guys see it okay? Just to make sure.
Yeah, so that's markdown. If you see those hashtags, that's a heading. The dashes are bullet points.
Now to give you an idea,
The
I did
double
not write this.
asterisks are bold.
Chat
I know you didn't write
GPT
it.
or some shit wrote it. So like don't
I'm
think
just
you have to write
explaining.
this stuff. Just know
Yeah,
how to
I'm
read it.
just saying that so because the output is going to be in this format,
Yeah.
so
So
that way you can understand it.
I haven't
Okay.
done this before, but is it easy to convert? Like, let's say you have like a PDF or like a Word
I'll show
doc.
you.
You
Yeah.
just
I'll,
okay.
I'll show you a real easy way to do all this. But so like, I'm just
And
gonna
it's
take this prompt I already made. So all this is for a client for a bank. Oh wait. Okay, so now I'm just gonna copy this and I'm gonna come back over to code, switch back over to Claude or to cursor. All right, and now I'm gonna paste in my full thing. Here's my full prompt. But I'm gonna change this,
now
right? Because this is a client.
are those tags mean anything like end SOW, start
Yes.
design? Does that mean anything?
So yeah, LLMs are trained to read XML. So if you give it XML like kind of tags, it knows, oh, this is a section, this is a thing that I need to pay attention to.
Okay,
So
yeah,
it just works better that way.
I
Okay,
didn't know that
so
was a thing. That's pretty cool.
what was the name of it? A 4H? What is 4H? Anybody know?
So it's huge. It's national. It's actually we have one down the street. So it's more
Okay.
like for community, for children, like farm, and like I actually took one of my plant leaves down, and they told us what was wrong with it. Like they do all kinds of agricultural in different areas. It's pretty cool.
All right, whatever. Okay, here we go. So let me make sure there's nothing else. Oh, whoops, this is definitely not it. You're testing just designer with a client. H. Know what this is. Produce. Please create instructions. I'm just making sure it's going to be tied. This document is around 30. Okay, so in addition, the project plan, the last thing, here's the document, design doc filled out. Here's the format. Okay, and then I have an SOW in here as well. Let me see here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is get a little spacer and then create a fully detailed PRD file from
And what is PRD again? Because I think I was on the call when you were.
project requirements and design, or project requirements and some. I call it project requirements and design, but
Okay.
requirements doc. To create everything listed above. Okay, so now go. Okay, there we go. So now you can see here, it's reading the transcript text file, so it has it all. Then it's going to go through this whole thing, and it's going to make me a PRD. Then I'm going to throw that into Taskmaster, and then I'm going to give it the task. So I'm just going to pull that up here so I can get this ready.
And can you generate a design document from the taskmaster?
Absolutely, that's what we're going to kind of do a little bit, but yeah. So we're going to get this thing open. We'll get it ready. Okay. So we're going to init, right? So we're going to create a whole new thing. Add shell alias. Yep. 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 Cool. What model do we want to use for the first one? So normally, yes, you want to use Anthropic Claude 3.7. I'm not going to do that, and the only reason is because I want to use this one flash preview right here. I'm using Google Gemini 2.5 flash preview. Oh shoot, I don't have a Google key in here. Never mind. Hold on. I just want to use a model that's faster. That's all, really. Give me one second. Maybe I don't have to Claude 3. Claude Sonnet 4. Oh, GPT 4.0 mini. That one should work fine. Yeah, because I really don't care about the content. If I care about the content, I'd want to pick a better model, obviously, right? But right now I'm just trying to go for speed so that we can get this thing done. Okay, cool. So now it's done. I've created the implementation plan and general instructions marked down. Let's take a look. Maybe it's too far. There, okay. So accept changes. There we go. So now this is the PRD from the transcript that we have. There's a lot in here. It's pretty rad. Oh, look at this. We made the tables, made all the stuff. Great. So now I have my Taskmaster stuff initiated. Do I have, oh, you know what? Give me 1 second. I gotta just copy over my environment variables. Give me 1 sec. Okay. Okay. Sure again. All I did
Oh,
was just put my API keys in place, just so you guys know what I'm doing here. Okay. So now that's done. Now I'm going to parse the PRD file. So just PRD, and the file name is implementation, this one, right? So there's that. This is the file that it just made. So run that in here. Let me give you this too. I'm gonna put this in chat. These are the steps on how to use Taskmaster, the way that I do it anyway. And then I'll also give you my generic SOW one too. Oh, I can't. It's too, I gotta do it as like a snippet or something. Now, you know what? Remind me. I'll figure out a way to get it. It's too big to post into Slack. Okay. So now it created all the tasks. So let's just take a quick little gander and see what it did. Taskmaster list. There we go. So there's our tasks. Great. Now we're going to do analyze complexity. So some of these are high, so it's going to go through and figure out what's going on. There we go. Our MCP server is being detected, so we can start interacting with it. So we're going to turn that on. And let's just take a little, oops. There we go. good. Let's it back up for now. Okay, there we go. We've done it. So you see how much faster it's running this time now too? So it's going pretty good. This is great. Okay, so now let's check out our complexity report. Nice. Now we're going to expand everything into subtasks. Task ID. Oh, sorry, bad. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we're getting all the subtasks. So we're going to break it down. And think of it this way, the more granular you create your tasks, the larger of the end result and more detailed the end result you get. If you just say, make me a document, it will not make you a 20-page document because it just cannot make up all that information. What you can do is create all these tasks and each one say, for this task, give me the most verbose detail possible, right? And then it will go through and then create a massive, massive document. Because in the beginning of this whole thing was the prompt that I told it where, let's see, I say, in the end, right here, the goal of this outline is to generate a fully detailed implementation plan design document that's around 30 to 40 pages in length. Like I'm telling it, I want this thing crazy detailed with a ton of information in it. So that's right out of the gate. So now it's creating all the subtasks for me. And as soon as that's done, we're going to list all our tasks and see what it's going to do. Then we'll take a little look here. Any questions while we're kind of waiting for stuff to do? Nope. Okay. So one thing I should mention, you can run more than one Claude instance at a time. You can have Claude code and cursor running at the same time. You can have multiple cursor agents running at the same time. So like while I'm waiting here, if I wanted to, I could come over here and start telling it to do stuff, and it will still run. And this one's using Claude 3.7, and this one's going to be using Gemini 2. So like you can do all kinds of cool stuff like this, right? All right, I think it's almost done.
I have a more general question about like the MCP servers.
Yep.
So when you say building an MCP server, you mentioned like something about an actual like ping fed server or something like that, or like some documentation site. So like is it like an interface for like actually doing stuff on like applications through
Yes.
APIs?
Yes. Think of it like an agent. Like you're building an agent, like an orchestrator. That's kind of what you're building. It's not that complex at all, by the way. They're very, very simple. But it's a little server that's running somewhere that can interface with the backend app over APIs. But it sends and receives
Okay.
communication via the LLM communication ways. Okay.
Okay.
So now we're done. So now here's all the tasks and subtasks that it created. So now we're just going to go ahead and kick this bad boy off. I'm going to do this. We're going to change this first because I want to use Flash because this Flash one's just way faster. Repeat.
Now, can you have Cursor work with models locally?
Yeah. So if you go up to cursor settings and go into your models, view models, you can add custom model right here. And then you can
Oh, and
connect.
then you can add an Olama model there.
Yep, exactly. All right, so now continue on the next task once completed. Process all tasks for okay. Let's see what this does. So now there's the transcript, which we don't. So Mike, remember, so all of this, everything that's happened so far is purely the only input ever really given was that transcript from the phone call. right? Like we haven't done any. I don't even know what's in here. I was even on the call and I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. So it's like I have no idea what's happening right now. But let's just let this thing kind of go here. There's that. I'm gonna close out this just to give us some more space. So now if we list our tasks, we can see it's in pending. Oh, it's thinking over here. It's doing its stuff. It's getting started. What is that? I don't even know what that was. I don't know if I was supposed to do that. Oh, I guess I wasn't supposed to do that. Oh, it's reading the PRD. So LLMs can only really read in about 200 lines at a time. So whenever you're writing code, you want to try to keep your whole code files at around 500 lines or less. It just makes it work better. You can even put that in your rules just to say all code files should have 500 lines of code or less. So when you have long things of text, it's got to read them in chunks, and that's kind of what it's doing here. So it's calling the tool right here to read this PRD file and kind of go for it, but it's reading it all through the Taskmaster stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping once it has everything read that it will wait, what is this? Initialize the time. Wait, hold on. This is not right. It's doing something stupid. 1 second. Go back. You know what? Let's just see if we can Taskmaster. A little more specific. Well, there we go. Okay. Now it's doing the right thing. So the problem is like 2.5 Flash is a little bit crazy. Sign up for a Penguin account. Blah, blah, blah. What is it doing? Yeah, the problem is these ones aren't that smart. That's the only downside. So let's
It's
do
actually trying to build the
right.
thing instead
It's
of writing the document.
exactly. So I'm gonna just flop this thing out. We're just gonna do let's just do Claude Force Sonnet. We're just not gonna do thinking, so we can kind of just get quicker responses. There we go. Oh wait, you know what? Let me put in my code. There we go. We'll put that back. Okay. So now we're gonna use the smarter model. I never tried it with one of the fast ones. I just figured I'd see what happens. Oh my God, why do you keep doing this? No.
I'm gonna
Since
step
this
away
is
for a few
like
minutes.
since this is mainly used for like building out actual, applications and like projects, does it like kind of gear towards doing that as a task
Yeah, a
instead of,
little bit. So you're kind of fighting a coding system prompt a little bit, which is slightly annoying, but it's like, in the end, I don't, this is the first time I've seen it like struggle. You know what? Let's do this. I'm wondering if it doesn't like all this history. So I'm just going to give it a new chat. We're just going to clear, start new, and fresh. Oh. So if you want to see the tools in the MCP that are available, tools, and then Taskmaster, 33 tools. So I want next task, call next task, see where to start, complete all. Try that, see what happens. Okay, that's good. What the hell is it doing?
I think it's because you
Oh,
generated the PD with
I know what's happening. No, it's doing what it's
Gemini.
supposed to do. Um, I should have clear in the PRD. Okay, hold on. second. I know what happened. This is annoying. I've seen this. I've actually had this happen before. So what's happening is implementation plan. This thing is saying, yeah, I don't know why. It should be just be, it's losing what to do. So at the bottom here, I'm just going to say, oh, so it's thinking when it, because it's so long, I think it's losing context and it's starting to think like, oh, you want me to do this. So it's trying to actually implement all this and not make the documentation is what's happening. And I think that's because I use this GPT 4.0 mini, so it's a little bit slow, like, you know, mentally. So we're just going to go back and use the good models for this stuff, as opposed to using the smaller ones. There we go. Okay. So there's that. And then we're going to do this, that. Yes. Okay. So what's happening is it tries to use, remember I was talking about how you can spin up your own in Bedrock and AWS. So it's trying to use my local Bedrock one first before going to the actual cloud one. So that's why you're seeing this. So that's fine. So while this is going, um, any other questions? Oops.
I think I'm pretty good. I mean, this is just mind blowing.
Yeah, what you're going to find is you're going to spend a lot of time waiting as opposed to like trying to figure stuff out. And the key thing is once you figure you're into that, once you're kind of getting into the groove, aka vibe coding, once you're vibing out, um, you can be doing more than one at a time because you know how normally when you're developing, you basically you kind of expand the entire code and problem in your head, so you have the whole project kind of like in memory and literally in memory in your mind. So as you're going through, you know where these functions are going. You're kind of tracing everything because you have it all
Hmm.
stored in there while you're working. You don't have to do that anymore. So because of that, you don't have to actually actively think and be 100% committed to paying attention to what you're doing. You can kind of let this thing run and then not think about it, and then go to another task or another window and code over there. So a lot of the times I'll be coding and developing on two separate projects at the same time.
I believe it.
Like two completely different things, sometimes even more, but most times it's just two, just because I'm also like playing a game or whatever. So here we go. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, create design document, develop water. Now we're talking. Now we have what we want to be doing, right? So now we come over here. Let's try this again. I'm going to put this back to Flash. Okay. See what we got. Nice. Yeah, that's what it was. So combination of putting at the very end, putting this here at the very end, because LLMs tend to forget the beginning stuff sometimes. So the end stuff is the most enforced stuff. So throwing this at the end really enforces it. And I leveled up and used the better model. That was the other thing that made it just overall better. So now
All
if we
right.
do this, we should see it running. Yeah. So, and it's flying through. It's going pretty quickly because we're using Flash. Let me look how fast this thing's going. This is insane. But you're not going to get as good of results. So that's kind of the balance is, does it need that super smart thinking? Is it that important? Whatever you're doing, if you're like, this is just, I just need some generic stuff. It's not that big of a deal. Use Flash. Way faster. Still really good results. But if you're like, I need this to be the best ever, and you want to take, honestly, probably 10 times as long, then use, Claude Opus or 3.7 Sonnet or Gemini 2.5 Pro, and you're going to get way more detailed, in-depth answers for everything. So now you can see it's creating the design docs for everything, right? So now we can actually look at it too while it's making it. So over here, let's see, where is it putting it? Where is it putting it? Oh, design doc. Here we go. So here's the design doc that it's starting out with. Is this it? No, that's not it. That's the one I made. Where's the one I'm making? Visions? Who's this? Oh, Taskmaster. Where the hell is it creating it? Interesting. Right major section. Okay, so it's done. Oh no, it's reading. I don't understand what it's doing, honestly. Because this is not it.
I think the instructions are
Oh,
still kind of
yeah, hold on. I
weird.
don't
Like
like.
it's trying to do the actual project than doing
Yeah.
the
I gotta
SOW.
go, guys.
Okay.
All right. This is great. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
See you, man.
Bye bye.
Take care, Kurt.
Bye.
Try that. There we go. So now, is it doing it in the right place? Nope. Um, this, this, this. Oops. Huh. Okay, hold on. Project plan, Claude. Let's just get rid of this. Project plan. Okay. Try that thing. Because it kept reading that design doc, and I don't want it to, and I don't want to switch to a thinking model because it's just going to take too long. Red project plan MD. Docs.
So there isn't a next step, right? Like once this runs, supposedly you would get the final document in Markdown.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I'd be interested. Like, could you just like run this in in the better model, and then you can like share the end result? I don't mind waiting for it.
Yeah,
You can just let it
yeah,
run in
I'll
the
do it. Here,
background.
hold on. Let me see if I can set status all status equals. Damn it. I want to reset the status of this stuff, these things. ID and status required. Yeah. Try that. See what happens. Oh shit. Oh, do I have rules? I have some. It still thinks. Problem is, it's reading my previous project somehow, and I don't know where the hell it's getting it from. Yeah, let's just get rid of. Let's get rid of this, this, trash.
You should probably create like a brand new project for like
I
each
I
task.
honestly should. Like that's I normally do. I was just trying to cheat, I guess. Because this is what happens. You get this weird overlap that's annoying.
That's cool. I think I get the general flow of like how to get from, you know, getting all the inputs in, creating that PRD file, and then pushing them into Taskmaster and then getting a result.
There we go. Cool. I reset them all. It's good. All right. Yeah. Now look. Now design page 44H IAM implementation project. Okay. Now we're talking. I just had to delete all that other crap. It looks like. And it started making something. Lazy user migration workflow mapping. And for people that are asking, like, hey, how do you flip this into PDF? So just real quick and easy way, I'll just show you. You can go, it's called Pandoc. So you just do Pandoc, what is it? Docs. And then like, let's say this was the completed document, then output, and just call it doc.pdf. So it flips it from this markdown that you see here and the crazy stuff that you might not really understand. Oh, I don't have it installed here. Damn it. Install it. Nope. PDF latex not sound. That's funny. All right. Well, I'm just gonna make it a doc file because you can export it from there. There we go. Okay. So now I open this thing up. Reveal Finder. Open it. There you go. So this is what it would look like. So that crazy markdown file you just saw, when you just run that one command, it flips it into a doc, and it looks like this, which I'm sure you've seen me send you a few times.
And it works the other way around, like with like PDFs to Markdown.
Markdown and shit. One way to find out, right? Output. Delete. Oops. Markdown. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this way you don't have to really worry about, you know, do you understand Markdown or not? It really doesn't. Oh, I didn't show it to you. Shit, I just deleted it. Well, just trust me. It does work. I just deleted. I thought I was sharing when I showed it, but then I just deleted the files when I was done. But yeah, you can flip it from docx to Markdown, and it works. It works as well. Let's take a look here at where we're at status wise. Yeah, so it's running. So now it's done the first one. So document structure. So now this particular doc, lazy migration. There, so this one's done for this one. Now it's working on this one here. Oh, this is looks like the full 4H IM design doc. So you can see this is what's written already.
Cool.
Yeah. And now it's doing research. So it's okay, this is the project, this is what I need to do, but now it's going out and it's actually saying, hey, I need to find out more information about this. So you see here the result. 4H identity access management, best practices, COPA compliance requirements. What do they have to do? All that kind of crap. So this is all the information it gets back from the queries that it's running. And then it's going to go through and update the doc to do selection research. So now I got the research, now I'll update the design doc. So now it's running that command now. And then it'll update this doc as it goes. And now we should see. Yeah, still the same. Also, you can see it here. You can see kind of the next stats of what's doing. There we go. So it wrote the file. Now it's doing the next one. Now let me complete subtask 312 and move on to the next subtask. Calling update subtask. So every one of these things is an MCP server call. So what it could be, instead of update task, it could be call ping DaVinci and create new subflow. Or call Strata and deploy orchestrator or whatever. I mean, like, it's really kind of endless as to what you want to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is going to take a while. I'll let this run. Oh, to let it finish up, and then I'll post the doc that's completed in the chat so you guys have it.
Sounds good.
Cool. Any other questions?
Thanks. Yeah, there was a ton of information on it, so much of it that my brain could absorb. Really interesting. This last piece was pretty intense, but I can see where it could even be helpful for us if we could figure something out. I
Yeah,
sent
and
you
we
a thing
can
on
automate it
saying
all too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, that's what I was saying. And I think if we could it's so funny because Ted and I were just talking about this morning. Is if we could just cookie cutter this guy's for paying, it would be unreal. Like that'd be so good. I sent you a thing in the sales channel too. See if we can put it together and like create a quick little video. I'd love to see it. So I put the prompting information in there for you. But you can do it whenever. We have a call on Friday with a prospect that we're presenting pricing, which would be really cool to talk about what the ELP does as a video. I think it'd be really neat. And make us look super slick.
I don't know what that stuff is though.
What do you mean?
ELP, MERS.
Oh, the ELP. So the Enterprise Launch Program. So that first thing that we did for Cal Private, that's what we came up with. That's what that ELP is that we sell them. Like that you guys create like the map and the timeline and all that for
So
them. It's
I
bolted
need
onto every one
I
of
need
those.
it broken down into like normal words that it will understand.
I understand. Okay, you
Because
got
it
it.
won't know what ELP is. It'll just be like, it'll just effectively Google ELP, and whatever the first result is, it's just going to use that.
Oh, I wrote it out. Oh, no, no, those kind of things. I wrote out enterprise launch program.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Take
Yeah, yeah.
this. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah,
what
yeah,
does
yeah.
ELP stand for? Yeah.
The enterprise
Enterprise
launch
launch.
program.
Oh,
Sam,
okay. Enterprise
which is
launch
good for
program.
you to know. Yeah, it gets bolted onto every one of the deals that we go direct with them, meaning that the customer is ours directly, because so that this is something that Ping bolts onto their own when they sell direct. But so they ask us to do the same. So we came up with this, and it's great because theirs is like 27,000 and ours is 7,500. Ours is a much smaller engagement to kind of get them going, and then from that, Sam, we look to them to kind of decide how much involvement they want us to have.
Okay. Because I was Googling it and I couldn't find anything useful.
So, it's something
So
we created that we created.
yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. And Adam's right. Like, so any of that Adam that comes back and you're like, no, 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 I need more explanation from this and this, happy to do it for your prompts. Just let me know after you look at it.
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Cool. Okay. I'm gonna kill it unless anyone has any other questions.
Can you put up the recording somewhere?
Yes. Yeah, I'll share it out.
Perfect. I was going to ask that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks, Adam.
This is
Yep, of
great,
course.
Adam. This is mind blowing, as someone said. It was amazing, fascinating too. So can't wait to see where we go with this.
No problem. Awesome.
Thanks,
Okay.
guys. Have a good
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good one.